Hey guys, Tychondrius here doing another toy review, and this time it's for it's a bunch of reviews. It's actually for a few of the Neca Godzilla figures. Mainly I picked up, recently I picked up the 2001 Godzilla, but I have a few of the Neca Godzillas, so I'll just pan across. You see there's a few I have 4 of the Neca ones. I do have one of the SH Monster Arts versions as well, but I'm not going to include him in this. This is just purely for the NECA ones. So, from left to right, I think, if I remember correctly, this is either the 89 or the 85. I think it's 85 Godzilla. It's not the original Godzilla. That was the 1954 Godzilla, but I don't have that one. I've been meaning to pick it up, but unfortunately it's quite pricey at the moment to get one, so I'm hoping I can pick one up at some point for a little bit more reasonable pricing. This again is a retool of the 84 Godzilla, but it's based on his video game appearance. As you can see, his boxes in the background. I only have boxes for 2 of these Godzillas. I don't have a box for all of them because I kind of tended to get the box, chuck the box. The only one I made sure I was definitely keeping was the video game one, because the box is part of the feature of the figure. The rest of them all have kind of similar style boxes with kind of a bubble, plastic bubble with a card back, which is similar to the box here in the back. And that's the box for this guy. This is the 2001 Godzilla. I think he's also known as the GMK Godzilla. I could be wrong on that. I know there's another one that came out around the same time, another design of the suit that was around the same time that was one of my favourite designs, and they haven't released a figure of him. Well, NECA haven't released a figure of him yet. SH Monster Arts Bandai have done a figure of that one, but I'm waiting to see if NECA get to do him. And then on the very end here we have the 2014 movie Godzilla. Scales for these guys, even though they're all kind of in the roughly same figure scale, the actual suit scales are a bit all over the place. If I recall correctly, the 2001 suit should be way bigger than the 84, and the new 2014 Godzilla should tower over all the rest of them. Supposedly he's one of the biggest reincarnations of Godzilla so far. I'm not sure if the Resurgence Godzilla is actually bigger than him. I haven't seen him scaled up to the other ones. At least I don't remember seeing him scaled to the other ones. And I know NECA are releasing a figure for Shin Godzilla or Godzilla Resurgence. So far they've only shown prototypes and it looks really cool. SH Monster Arts are doing one as well, but I think I'm going to wait for the NECA version because it's going to be a little bit cheaper. But moving on to the figures themselves. Actually, I'll just do a quick look at the box first. This is the only one that's kind of really of interest. This is Godzilla, Monster of Monsters, as opposed to King of Monsters, which sometimes he's known as. So you got artwork of the original cover for the video game. It has the NECA seal of quality on the corner here. And then when you open it up, it's actually a window style packaging, so you have figure would be in here. Now when you get the figure for the video game Godzilla, his tail is not attached, so you have to plug his tail in. It's the same with nearly all the Godzilla figures actually. The tails are generally unattached. And then you got a video game still or a shot of what the video game looked like, and that's what Godzilla looked like in the video game. And then flipping around to the box, you got the Great Movie Monster action. Sorry. Excuse me. The Great Movie Monster is an action figure. And then you got the kind of the parts of hinged jaw, articulated tail, so big you've never played with a toy like this. Then from beneath the sea comes a massive Godzilla, king of all giant monsters. Send him into battle against fierce foes and watch as he proves his strength. When the planet is in crisis, Godzilla is there, but will he save the Earth or destroy it? And he's just got a Godzilla logo on all the sides, and then the NECA. If I remember correctly, I think this is based off an old Nintendo game, a 64-bit Nintendo game. I'm not sure which Godzilla game is actually based off, but it's one of the ones I never had as a kid. The The only Godzilla games I had growing up were the ones for the GameCube, which are way later, and the ones that came out in the PS2. So those are the only kind of Godzilla games I remember. So onto the figures. I'll go through the 2001 box in a minute. It's fairly straightforward, but onto the figures themselves. You got, as far as I remember, I'm almost certain it's the 84 Godzilla. He has pretty much the same articulation as the video game one because he's a retool. The only main differences between this guy and the video game one is the fins on the back. They actually, if I bring them over, and the paint deco obviously. You can see the fins. He has massive fins going down his back compared to the smaller ones that the movie version has. Sculpt wise, he's identical bar those fins, and then you have the paint apps to make him look more like his video game counterpart. So this one has kind of a sort of glossy look to his eyes. He has like fairly kind of yellowed teeth. They're not kind of a bright white. His hands, fingernails are painted. His toe claws are painted. Articulation wise, he has a kind of ball socket hinge on the hips. He got knee articulation. He has single joint on the knees. He does have an ankle rotation. He has a slight rotation in the hands. He has a single jointed elbow, but it has a swivel. And he has like a ball socket shoulder. So, and he also has a mid torso cut, so you can kind of go rock side to side. Slight bit forward and back. It is hindered by the actual spines. The head has a double neck joint, so he has one at the base of the neck here and one at the base of the head. So he actually has a double hinge. You can swivel the neck on 2 points. Does look a bit weird if you put because there's a few tiny fins just coming up the back of his neck, so it looks a bit odd if they're out of place. And then he has, as advertised on the box for the other one, the hinged jaw, which transfers over onto the video game version, and he does have the articulated tail. Now his tail is separated into a few sections, so he has like double section, a larger section, and then all the rest here is one single piece, which has a bendy wire in it from here, but the rest are all kind of connected via joints, so you can get some great poses out of the tail. It does help to keep him balanced as well when you're displaying him. Oh, and he has peg holes on his feet as well. None of the Godzillas actually come with display stands, but you have the option of putting them onto a display stand, as you can see, with the peg holes. Again, same articulation for the video game one. He's even more hindered at the back because of the fins. The fins are actually slightly more rubbery than a solid plastic, so you do get some give with them. And I love the head sculpt on this one. The red eyes just look so menacing. Looks really cool, and he can open his mouth. His teeth are a little bit more whiter than the movie version, and so are his claws. They don't have such a kind of grubby look to them. And he has toes are painted similar. Now, one thing I've noticed on both versions of this, he does seem to have a really big extended second toe on the right foot. I'm not sure if that's screen accurate or if it's just a mold issue. It's very possible that the movie costume actually had that big toe, but if you look at the rest of the toes on the left foot, they all seem to be kind of in kind of sync with each other, whereas the right foot has just that one giant toe and the rest seem to be kind of, in scale. It does translate over onto the movie one as well. He has the same issue. Moving on to 2001 Godzilla. I'll just do a quick review of the box. Boxes for these ones are pretty much the same. So the ones that they've released in the line so far is the original Godzilla, the movie 84 one that I picked up, a 1994 version. There's two versions of the 94. There's a normal clear version, or like there's a normal skin tone version, kind of the greens and stuff like that, and then there's what's called the Burning Godzilla, which is from the movie when he goes kind of super atomic. He starts glowing orange, so he has that orange paint work on him. Sorry, I have a bit of a cold at the moment, so if I sneeze again. But you have the Godzilla logo, Godzilla 2001, and then just on the back of the box it shows an image of the figure inside, and then this just has the kind of NECA logos, and I think it has the Toho logo and a few other things as well. So moving quickly on to the figure. This figure so far is one of my favourite Godzillas that NECA have produced so far. Now, I don't have too many of them, but this one just is absolutely amazing. He has the same sort of articulation as the others. He has the midsection crunch, he has the arms on ball sockets, he has the hinge at the elbow, and I don't think he doesn't have the swivel at the elbow. The arm does swivel, but it doesn't give a swivel rotation. His hands are on kind of small ball joints, but the other added articulation point that he has is he actually has a hinge the 3 fingers here, so you can give him kind of gripping poses, or extend the hands out. Again, he has the similar thing with the tail. He has a large section, 2 large sections. Actually, sorry, he has 3 large sections with ball that are solid. So he has just near the base of the tail. This second and third sections are solid plastic, and then at the very end, this was the piece that was separate from here on, has a bendy wire. And the only problem I have on mine, I'm not sure if you can see it. If I bring it in, you can actually slightly see the bendy wire, the metal wire poking through his tail. It's not too big of a deal. Does have the same kind of hinge on his thigh. He has single hinged knees, which are quite tight. Get him to move. Yeah, he has single hinged knees. He has really great ball jointed feet. The feet design are mad because they're massive. You can see how the suit was sort of designed to have like padding so that the toe claws don't sit flush onto the ground. But it looks really, really cool. Again, he has the double jointed neck. The neck is slightly different to the other ones, so you have the neck joint back here and then up here. There's a great range of movement on the head, articulated jaw, and again he has the spines running down his back. Spines are rubbery plastic again. And I think that's it. He does have peg holes on the bottom of his feet as well. So that's it for the 2001 Godzilla. I think what makes him way more scary, actually scarier than the other Godzillas, so if you just take a look at the head sculpt, is the completely whited out eyes that he had. If I remember correctly in the movie, it's been a while since I've watched the movie, his eyes were sort of a silvery white colour as opposed to like the other ones where they had pupils, so it was like he was a fairly formidable looking monster. And then for the last Godzilla figure is this one, which is the 2014 American designed Godzilla, which I really like. Again, it's another one of those designs that I quite like. Again, he's a far better American version anyway, than the previous American Zilla, which was the one from 98? Yeah, 98 with Matthew Broderick. This guy's slightly different in the sense that he's a bit more similar to the 84 in the video game one, where his tail sections are just kind of like 2 plates apart. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plates, and then the rest of his tail from here. Sorry if you can see that. So he has 2 plates here, 2 plates here, 2 plates here, which are all connected via kind of a ball socket. And then from the rest of this plate, from here all the way to the tip of the tail, is where the bendy wire is, but the bendy wire does stop, I think, about in around here, so the rest of the tail is just kind of, it doesn't have the bendiness, so you can't really pose it, it just goes back into shape. He has teeny tiny feet compared to the other Godzillas, but it has some great articulation points on it. Again, he has very similar articulation to the other Godzillas. He has the mid-waist, posable tail. The hinge is on the upper thigh. Does look a bit odd in some poses. He has a single hinged knee, which doesn't really get much range of movement because of the design of the suit. You can actually swivel those hinges as well. You can actually swivel it on the other ones as well, on the other Godzillas. I did forget to mention that. and then he has the articulation on the feet. His hands are actually a good bit smaller than the other Godzillas as well, but he has the same articulation. So he has the kind of ball socket hinge up at the top. You don't get too much out with it because of the design of the actual suit kind of hinders a bit. He does actually have the swivel at the elbow, unlike the 2001 Godzilla, and then he has a small kind of ball socket hands. He has a very tiny head compared to the other Godzillas. I love that you can actually see his tongue inside the mouth. The mouth opens and closes. He does have the double jointed head, but it doesn't get too much range of movement. Again, it's kind of hindered. It's nothing to do with NECA, really. It's more to do with the design of the actual costume or the suit. Even though, it wasn't a suit in the movie, it was CGI. So it does hinder his movement, restricts it a good bit. In the movie, he doesn't really do a lot of superposing or anything like that, but he is a really cool design. But putting them all together, they look quite impressive. I do hope to get some more of the other older NECA release Godzillas that they've done, and I'm really looking forward to the Shin Godzilla, so hopefully I might be able to do a video review for him when I get him. But there you go, guys, there's a video review for the NECA Godzilla series. I know it's not all the ones that they have so far, but it's a group of the NECA figures that they've released, and I do recommend picking them up if you can. The video game one isn't a big pickup if you're not really into it. If you just want the kind of standard movie version, then that would probably do you over, but I do recommend getting, if you're a completist and you'd like to get all the kind of figures they did, there's the video game one, and I think, is there a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive? They might have done one as well as an exclusive, but there you go. There's just a quick look at some of my NECA Godzilla figures. I hope you enjoyed the video review. I know it's a little bit long-winded than usual, so as I say in most of my videos, if you liked it, please click like. If you want to subscribe, feel free to subscribe, and also feel free to comment in the comment section below. I know I may have gotten the dates wrong on that first movie Godzilla. It's an 80s Godzilla movie figure, but I can't remember straight off if it's an 84 or 85 or 89. I know there was a good chunk of Godzilla films in the 80s, so I'm not sure entirely which exact one it is. But there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video.